Hi, parents, and welcome to this is my Algebra 1 lab video or math lab, depending on how it looks on your student schedule. But my name is Natalie Wood, and I am your student's Algebra 1 lab teacher. So just a little bit about myself before I get into how the class runs. I'm originally from Southern Indiana. I was born and raised in a small farm town called Scottsburg. After high school, I went to Indiana University, and I majored in math education. And then I actually just finished my master's degree last spring from the University of Missouri, and that was also in education. This is my 6th year teaching at Carmel High School and 6th year overall, and I have taught Algebra 1 all 6 years, so I'm very familiar with the curriculum, and I'm looking forward to year 6. Also, here's a picture of myself and my husband. I married my husband, Ben, in June of 2023, and we are college sweethearts. So getting into just some standards that the Department of Education for Indiana states that need to be covered in Algebra 1. You can kind of read through these, but all Algebra 1 teachers here at CHS follow these topics. So just some class expectations. Students will help and support others. We do a decent amount of group work and partner work, so just being kind and showing people kindness and just helping them whenever they can. Completing original work, coming to class with the required materials, and then just being respectful of others and classroom materials. So you might be a little confused, or maybe you were confused when you saw your student schedule and you saw that they had 2 teachers for 1 period. So the way that Math Lab works is that I actually co-teach Math Lab with another teacher, Mrs. Long, April Long, and she is their supported study hall teacher. So basically how it works is the students go to their supported study hall teacher, which is Mrs. Long, at the start of the period, and she takes attendance. And her room is actually right across the hall from mine, so it's very convenient. After she takes attendance, I walk across the hall and I get half of the students and I bring them back to my room. And for the first 45 minutes of class, I work with my half of the students in Math Lab. So we work on any homework questions they have or just some different skills that they've been working on with their math teacher, anything that they're confused about. And while I'm working with those students, the other half of the students are in supported study hall with Mrs. Long. And then after the first 45 minutes, I walk those students back across the hall to Mrs. Long. And my students that I had will stay in study hall with her, and then I'll grab the other half and bring them back to my room. So all that is really just to say that when your student is in supported study hall / math lab, they're spending 45 minutes of the class in supported study hall, and then another 45 minutes in my room doing math lab. And I do teach Algebra 1. I teach 3 sections of Algebra 1, so I do know, again, the curriculum, and I know the pacing and even though your student might not have me as their algebra teacher, I do know what they are covering in their classes, and so those are the skills that we work on. I tell the students, reviewing or previewing. So sometimes we'll work ahead of where their teacher might be, or sometimes we might review things that they're struggling with. So hopefully that makes sense. These are the kind of materials that I'd like to see the students have: some type of binder or folder to put all of their papers in, pencils. They should come with their Chromebook and charger. And then one of these calculators would be great. These are the 2 calculators that I recommend to my Algebra 1 students. And I would recommend that your student get one of these. I do have extra calculators in my room if your student forgets theirs. Because this is an elective math lab, it's not their actual Algebra 1 course. The grade is just total points. So everything that we do in class, not everything I take for a grade, but everything that we do in class could potentially be taken for a grade. So any in-class worksheets that we do, just participation. Sometimes we do problems at the whiteboards, and so they'll get their points for just showing up and participating. And there's not really any homework or tests or quizzes in my class because, again, it's just a math lab to help support what they're already doing in their Algebra 1 class. With that being said, though, if your student does miss something in my class and I've collected it and taken it for a grade, it is their responsibility to get that worksheet and complete it and get it turned in. And going on with that, if they do turn in something late, I don't dock for turning in something late, so they are eligible to get full credit for turning in their assignments or their worksheets late. If they do have something missing, I will put it as a score of 0 in PowerSchool, and I'll mark it missing until they get that turned in. In terms of technology with cell phones, AirPods and all the technology should be put away unless I've told them otherwise. And I do have a caddy at the front of my room where students are assigned a number and they put their phone there. And so far, all the students have been doing really great with that, and we've been having a great first couple of weeks. So Canvas is where I post everything that we do for the course, and so like any of our worksheets. And this is kind of what it looks like, but I'm actually going to show you what it looks like in Canvas here. So if you go to my Canvas for Algebra Lab and you go to modules, mine looks a little different because I'm on the teacher side of it. But the only link I have here is what's called the daily agenda. So if your student's absent, they can click on that daily agenda. And it's like it says, everything we do will be posted on this document. And it says it's shared between 2 teachers, myself and another teacher. So your student will want to make sure they're looking at gold days for Mrs. Wood. So they'll open that document, and then they can look at the date and see Mrs. DeFelice, that's another teacher. She does it on blue days, and I have lab on gold days. So they'll just want to find my name and find the date, and then they can just click right on the link there for the document that I passed out that day. So thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to know how I can best support your student as we work together this year. And the best way to get in contact with me would be my email, which you can see here on the screen. Thanks.